What's going on, everybody? It looks like Tulsi is doing quite well, and she is going to be around for a long time, much to the dismay of her haters. Let's talk about it. So, as a lot of you all know, there has been a lot of polls coming out. Poll after poll after poll after poll after poll after poll after poll has been dropping. And it's interesting because when we first started this election, when they were trying to essentially keep Tulsi off the debate stage, and I think that it was becoming blatantly obvious that they were trying to keep her off the debate stage, they were just trickling polls out. But now, with this struggle to keep a lot of the establishment players relevant, we've actually seen an uptick in released polls. Now, there has been a new poll to come out that was found, thankfully, by MCSC's own Sofia Zaldivar, who always does absolutely amazing and well-researched work. And today we are going to talk about it. And we're also going to talk about the weird order this has been done in. I'm not joking. You're gonna laugh because I don't think that Sophia actually caught this part. So let's check out this poll real quick. So move this out of the way for y'all. This was a poll conducted by Hofstra, and it was actually sponsored by YouGov. Now, this poll states that this is the state of the Democratic Party nomination, it's Democratic candidate preference, and this is obviously for the Democratic Party. So for those of you who are like, but it's not about the Democrats, this isn't the Democrats, because that's what a lot of people are going to say. You should know that this is Democrats, y'all. I don't know what to tell you. You can keep playing like it's not a big deal if you want to. So I'm gonna need y'all to see my face for this. All right, I'm gonna need y'all to see my face for this. So it says, if your local Democratic Party primary or caucus were today, which candidate would you support today? All right, Joe Biden got 14.8%. Pretty standard. Elizabeth Warren got 12.6%. Bernie Sanders got 9.2%. Kamala, Miss Top Tier herself, it's at 3%. Pete Buttigieg, 5.3%. Beto O'Rourke, who has dropped out, so it doesn't matter. Booker, 1.6%. Tulsi Gabbard, 9%. Andrew Yang, 2.2%. Michael Bennett, 0.5%. Julian Castro, well, hold up, double back. Wait a minute. Hold up. So, for the most part, this seems to be in a numerical descending order, right? 14, 12, 9. Kamala Harris ended up in the fourth spot for some reason. Buttigieg, okay, so let's skip Kamala, right? 14, 12, 9, 5. Beto dropped out. I don't know why he's up there. 1.6. And then Yang, 2.2. 5, 1.6, 1.2. I don't exactly know what the hell order this is. Does it look like it's in... No, it can't be... It can't be alphabetical order. It isn't clearly in numerical order. But don't you think that if a candidate has 9%, shouldn't she be up there with the other... I've been waiting to say this, y'all, okay? We're going to say it together. Shouldn't she be up there with the other top tier candidates? Oh, yeah, that's right. Because we do now have to ask the very legitimate question. Is Tulsi Gabbard inching closer and closer to the top tier candidate range? Let me explain why we have to have this conversation. Well, let's be honest. A lot of these polls, even where Tulsi is doing well, this is only the Democrats talking, right? When you start factoring in both Democrats and Republicans and independents, Tulsi seems to basically outperform everybody, generally except for maybe the top 3 or the top 4. And in this particular poll, where only Democrats were asked, I say, yo, if you got to vote today, who are you voting for? 9% said in Iowa, said that they would be voting for Tulsi Gabbard if they were voting today. That is a pretty high number. And here's where it gets a little bit more interesting, in my humble opinion. And this is probably a little bit more significant. 16% said they're voting for someone else, which is super weird. I don't know who else they could be voting for. Unless they're voting for, well, no, they can't. Who the hell are they voting for? I don't know. But 19% said they're actually voting, or they're unsure of who they're voting for. So 19% right here. They said that they're actually unsure of who they are voting for, which means they are undecided, which means if they were going to vote for Biden, I think that a lot of us would agree, they would already be in the Biden camp. If they're going to vote for Warren, they would already be in the Warren camp. I think that the majority of those people, if I'm being honest, are probably trying to decide between Bernie, Tulsi, Andrew Yang, potentially Marianne Williamson. But mostly I would say it's probably between Bernie, Tulsi, and Andrew Yang. Now, Bernie, to be real with you, I believe if he was going to win those votes for those who are unsure, he would have won them by, he would have won them by now. I think that basically Yang and Gabbard, which I think a lot of us have probably already figured out, they're competing right now for those who are unsure. They know they want something new, but they're not exactly sure which direction they want to go in. And I'll be honest with you guys, man, look, y'all know I'm a huge Tulsi supporter, obviously. But man, it is hard to argue against somebody giving you $1,000 a month. That is a really hard thing to vote against, okay? CC my bank account, all right? So, it's just interesting to see that so many people are unsure. Now, apparently, there's this other breakdown where they're telling you this is weird because you can't. So it says that the Democratic primary caucus was held today in Iowa. What would you be voting for? Oh, let me make sure this is Iowa. Oh, this isn't Iowa. I think this is a national poll. My apologies. This isn't Iowa. This is a national poll. Ooh. That's even better. My apologies, people. This is actually a national poll. There's another Iowa poll where she did do well, but this is a national poll. That's not the picture I want to click on. There we go. That's the one I want to click on. So it says here's the breakdown once again. The breakdown once again is exactly what you'd expect it to be. What have I been preaching since the beginning of this primary? What have I been preaching since the beginning of this primary, ladies and gentlemen? I said Tulsi doesn't need all the Democrats to like her. Well, one, if you're a Democrat, you better go ahead and add 2 to 3% to this number right here. This 2%, right? The reason why is because of how the Democrats have demonized Tulsi, they have likely put themselves in a bad situation, very similar to what they have done with Donald Trump, where people were lying on polls because they did not want to be voter shamed. They knew that they were going to be voter shamed, so they would say they were undecided, or that they were going to vote for Hillary, but they had really always had intentions on voting for Donald Trump. Once again, there's actually a psychological term for this, but I can't remember what it's called. But basically, people who don't want to be shamed for what they're, even if they don't see you, even if you're never going to talk to them again, they don't like being shamed. Okay, so that 2% is probably higher. Interestingly enough, Tulsi got 11% of her support from Republican voters. You know, those voters that you're going to need in 2020. to beat Donald Trump? But even more interesting, 14% came from independent voters. Once again, those supporters that you're going to need to beat Donald Trump, but also those voters who will be the deciding factor in every single open or semi-open primary state. There are 37 of those bad boys. 37 open or semi-open primary states. Other said that they're 17%. So I'm assuming these are people who are registered libertarian or registered Green Party or undecided or no party preference whatsoever. So that means the randos, if you will, the randos, that's what I like to call them, the samurai without a master. Basically, if you're not a drone in the Democratic Party, if you are not one of those who have been conditioned, then you love Tulsi Gabbard. So you gotta wonder, yo. You gotta wonder, how is it that Tulsi is performing so well, and yet they're constantly pretending as if she's not a force to be reckoned with. Now, mind you, people, I want to make this clear too. People think that getting into the November debates was an easy task, but although I said she's probably going to make it, I said that actually, but I was like, but it's not a simple task as what people were pretending it was. It was only simple whenever we were all expecting Julian Castro, for example, to make it, even maybe potentially Delaney to make it, but or Beto O'Rourke to make it. People thought that Beto O'Rourke was going to make it. Beto O'Rourke did not make it, and he knew he wasn't going to make it, which is why he dropped out. Bennett didn't make it. Castro didn't make it. Castro got boosted by AOC. He was on CNN, and they were fundraising for this man, and guess what? He made it off of polling. He didn't make it off of individual donations, which means he does not have the grassroots support that Tulsi Gabbard has, even though Gabbard has been smeared by everybody, and Castro has not had one serious critique lobbed at him this entire time. So why is that? Because Tulsi's message is resonating. I said from January, Pasta and Fiorella from the Convo Couch said since January, hell, even Jimmy Dore, we said once people hear Tulsi's message, it's over. It's no competition. And that is exactly what is happening. People are hearing Tulsi's message, and her message is resonating. Now, I want to be clear about what happens next after this debate, and I'll be doing a video covering what to look out for in the debates, by the way. Here's what happens next. Tulsi has to qualify for the December debates. A lot of you may be wondering, well, isn't she far from qualifying for the December debates? Actually, she isn't. She isn't far. Tulsi needs one more poll for the December debates. And I believe, let me make sure, I'm going to verify this before I tell y'all a whole lot. I'll figure out who qualified for the defense. Who has qualified for the December debates? Oh, good, they just released a list. There has only been 6 candidates so far to have qualified for the December debates. Those 6 candidates are Biden, Buttigieg, Harris, Klobuchar, Bernie, and Warren. Yang hasn't qualified yet, which is surprising to me. It is a little surprising to me that Yang hasn't qualified, although I would say by December, I don't think that Yang needs to qualify to make a massive impact in the Democratic primary. I think if Yang doesn't qualify for that debate, then he will use it as a marketing opportunity, as he always does, and he'll end up somehow finding success anyway, because that's what Yang does. He's a marketer extraordinaire. You can't deny that. You can take a lot away from him, but you cannot deny that for sure. Tulsi, however, I can't tell you how far Yang is. I can't tell you how far Steyer is. But I can tell you that Tulsi is the closest out of all three. Who hasn't? Is that still running? Castro, Yang, Steyer. Yeah. So out of Castro, Yang, and Steyer, Tulsi is the closest. The only one I can't verify is Yang, because I haven't seen his polling numbers. Castro, obviously, he couldn't even qualify via donations for this debate, so he's probably going to drop out. Steyer, although he qualified for November, the requirements have grown pretty steep, right? Oh, here it goes. So, okay, so Tulsi's the closest. The only thing she needs is either one more early primary poll at 4% or higher, or one more early primary poll where she's at 6% or higher. Either one will get her in the debates. He says she needs to meet the threshold, but she's close to meeting the threshold, the donor threshold. She hasn't reported yet that she's made it, but she's close. And because what happens for the minimum for the donation requirements, you need at least 200,000 overall unique donors, which she has. And she needs 800 unique donors in 20 states, which she might already have, but has not reported at least. Because Tulsi always takes a while to report her numbers. And of course, after this debate, she'll be fine. Now, Booker hasn't gotten 4% in any primary polls, hasn't gotten 6% in any early state primary polls, and hasn't hit the donor threshold. Steyer got three state primary polls where he got 4%, no early primary polls at 6%, no donor threshold. Tulsi has 3 state primary polls of at least 4%, 1 early state primary poll of at least 6%. And once again, I don't know for a fact that she hasn't hit it. She might have just not reported it, because she hit 200,000 donors a while ago. Okay, so we'll see. It's going to be interesting though to see what happens if she can hit that donor threshold and get that last poll. It's on like Donkey Kong, people. So I'm excited. I really am. I think that Yang will get it, by the way. I think it's ridiculous to assume that Yang won't get 2 primary polls where he's at least 4%. I think that after this debate, people will be reminded he's the Asian guy who wants to give everybody $1,000. I think he'll be fine for the Yang gang people. But Booker, go ahead and drop out, dog. Just save us all the trouble. Don't take any more time away from the debate stage, for the love of God. If he drops out, understand something, people. If he drops out, the race gets significantly smaller and the stage gets significantly smaller, because you got rid of, literally, I'm going to go down the list of people who are no longer part of the race or did not qualify for the debates so far. O'Rourke, Bennett, de Blasio, Delaney, Gillibrand, Hickenlooper, Inslee, Ryan, Williamson, Swalwell, Bullock, and Deval Patrick. And Bloomberg hasn't qualified either. So that's a lot of people you've eliminated from the race. And if they don't do well on this debate stage, because Tulsi is going to be fine. Tulsi's success isn't reliant on how she performed in this debate. Although, hey, she going to kill it. Just look out for Look out for Pete Buttigieg. Look out for that interaction. Just dropping little hint there. Remember last time I told y'all, like, hey man, watch out for that. Watch out for Harris, man. I want to see if she survives this round. Anybody who watches this channel faithfully knows exactly what happened next. So I'm just telling y'all, watch out for Buttigieg. So I'm telling you. Let's see if he'll make it past this round. So, but I think that we can make a legitimate case that Biden is a lock for December, obviously, or after December even. Buttigieg, Harris, Klobuchar, Warren, and Sanders, and Tulsi will probably be in the December debate. So that's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people that will be like a consistent threat after December. And Tulsi is one of those candidates. After being religiously smeared, not getting any love from the major progressive news outlets outside of Tulsi. Outside of Jimmy and obviously us. She's not getting any love from progressives. She's getting love from progressive supporters, but progressive news outlets have decided that we're just going to either lie about Tulsi and smear her or not cover her at all because we don't want people to know the truth. That's fine, but I'm letting you know you're missing the train. Just letting you know. Frank, thanks for the super chat. Niko, what do you think of Tulsi's Medicare for All plan? So, Frank, her plan is actually called Single Payer Plus. I love it. It allows you. So, the main problems that Tulsi had was that when she was on the road, she was told by union workers and government officials, like people who have government insurance or private insurance through the government. Like I have I have government insurance. They were very worried about losing their health care under Medicare for All because technically they would. For example, I have TRICARE, which is military insurance, best in the country. I went to the hospital the other day, or the doctor's office the other day, paid nothing for anything whatsoever. Got 3 different medications, went to go see my doctor, had a lab done, 0. I paid 0 for it. No line, no nothing. I want to keep that. And a lot of people have expressed similar feelings. So she decided to do single payer, but make sure that if you have a choice, or if you have a better option for whatever reason, there's very rare that happens. But if you have a better option, then you should be able to pursue it without having the government tell you cannot. Now, she also is going to take insurance companies out of the negotiations process. She's also planning on addressing the doctor shortages, which nobody seemingly wants to talk about. That's a big deal for a lot of reasons, but just for those of you who don't know, under Medicare right now, so a clinic can do the same procedure or have the same type of appointment for somebody on Medicare, somebody on private insurance. Private insurance right now pays three times what Medicare pays. So we have to figure out, are you going to match what private insurance pays now to doctors that are already overworked and overstressed? Or are we going to pay them less? Right? So that has to be addressed too. And I was told that was going to be addressed in the plan. But the number one thing is that everybody has to pay into it, because that's the only way that the risk pool works, right? It's the only way that you make it work, that it's not a burden on everybody else. However, if somebody is getting their insurance provided to them by a third party, it actually benefits the risk pool, because you have less people. So you have more. Everybody's paying into the system, but less people are using that system, and therefore resources are not strained. I might have access to my military clinic and a Medicare clinic. However, if I go to my military clinic, it's less of a line, less wait times for everybody else who may not be in the situation that I'm in. So, so far I love it. I will see what her plan is when it's finally released. Healthcare plans. If she would have released a healthcare plan in like a week after she made the announcement for Single Payer Plus, I would have been a little bit worried. Because healthcare should not take a week to put together at all whatsoever. That's stupid, and it's silly for people who actually care about healthcare and understand how policy works. But she wants it to work similar to Australia, is what she said in an interview the other day. So, Allison Irwin, Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Happy Sunday to you as well. I think that's all for today. I think that's all for today. Make sure you go check out my other videos. I just did one where we talked about the Bolivian Congress actually voted to reject Morales' resignation and still recognizes him as president. That's a pretty big deal, huh? And then I did another video where it talks about Israel's retaliation on Gaza, but it turns out that Israel, of course, attacked Gaza first. So make sure you go check out both of those videos. If you have not yet, if you have an iPhone or if you use Apple, you can go to rockfin.com or Rockfin in the Apple Store, also rockfin.com, but you can download the Rockfin app. Go to the Apple Store, download the Rockfin app, follow myself, follow the Convo Couch. Sophia is actually about to be granted access to the platform as well. Shout out to everybody who's already on there. And of course, as you already know, peeps, we will be live streaming the debate from Rockfin because YouTube can EAD. For those of you who do not know what EAD is, go to Urban Dictionary. But if you don't have Apple, they're working on the Google Play. They said they had to rework some things there. So they're working on the app for the Google Play Store. But for those of you who are not on the Apple App Store, you can definitely still go and subscribe at rockfin.com/Niko. Hey, real quick before I go, really appreciate it if you have not if you could become a Patreon or patron on Patreon, help support the show. We of course are going to continue to bring you the news uncensored and unfiltered, but we are, YouTube is doing what YouTube does. It demonetizes everything or waits for 2-3 days for the video before it, or after the video is uploaded for it to finally be monetized. The more we cover more controversial topics, especially, I'm like trying my hardest to bring you all the news about Bolivia and Israel and Palestine because a lot is happening in both of those situations right now. The more we cover that stuff, the more we're going to get demonetized. But it's cool. It is what it is. We understood what we were trying to do from the beginning. But I want to give a shout out to all of our patrons on Patreon because you all are dope. You're amazing. And you're definitely keeping the show alive. And for those of you who have not, please help us reach our goal of 500 patrons by donating as little as $1. That's all it takes. And you'll get access to everything we upload to Patreon. All the live streams, the long ones, the uncensored ones. You get them after we're done here. You can't get access to them unless you're on Patreon or you're a premium member of Rockfin. So you can go to patreon.com, or the link is in the description, but I'll type it in here too. .com/Mikasa. Yes, Sukasa. Boom. All right. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream segment of Mikasa Sukasa. And always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.